Hello, my name's Edna Sue Pumpkin, and today I'm going to be baking a pumpkin pie for the Thanksgiving holidays. And I'm also going to double my recipe. This will be 2 pies, and to start with, we have, as you can see, we have 2 pie crusts. I'm not that smart on making homemade pie crust just yet. I hadn't mastered that. But I bought the Pillsbury deep dish, and I took a fork, and before I put anything in it, I took a fork and kind of went around the bottom in a few places and made a print of the fork, so when it bakes, the pie crust don't rise up and kind of get out of shape. So I guess it makes it breathe good. So we're going to start off with, in this mixing bowl, since I'm doubling the recipe, it calls for 1 can of pumpkin. So we'll be using 2 cans, and you just empty that into your bowl. And I got a spatula because you don't want to waste any of this good stuff. This recipe is real similar to sweet potato. To me, I can't tell the difference. And since I've been baking these, this is one of my favorite pies as well. Jerry loves this. Every fall, Christmas holidays, we have many of these during the holidays. So that's 1 can of Libby's pumpkin. 100% pure. Before you get started though, you preheat your oven to 425, and once I get everything mixed up, I'm going to put the pies in the oven for 15 minutes on 425, but we'll talk about that when time comes. So this will make 2 delicious pumpkin pies. I think that's about it. Okay, 2 cans of pumpkin. And like everybody else my age, you have to use some of these sometimes. This recipe is real small. All right, it calls for 2 eggs on the recipe, so I have taken 4 eggs, and you slightly beat them with a fork, and I'm gonna add this to the pumpkin. Okay. All right, after that, it calls for 3/4 cup of sugar. So 3/4 and 3/4 is 1 1/2. And I pre-measured 1 1/2 cups of regular granulated sugar. And we're gonna mix that in. And before I put anything else in, I'm gonna slightly stir it up a little bit. My KitchenAid's gonna do the most part of it. Let me get one of these cans so I can rest the spatula down in it. All right, the next ingredient is 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So 1/2 and 1/2 equals 1. So I pre-measured 1 teaspoon of salt. And the next ingredient is 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So I have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. This is what makes it good, all these spices. All right, the next ingredient is pumpkin pie spice, and it calls for 1 1/2 teaspoon of that. So 1 1/2 and 1 1/2 makes 3. 3 teaspoons is 1 tablespoon. So I'm gonna add that, and that's all the ingredients for that. All the spices, I'm sorry. And give that a swirl or 2. Oh, it smells good. It smells like Christmas time, all that cinnamon and ginger and cloves and all that that's in that pumpkin pie spice. Okay, the recipe calls for 1 can of canned evaporated milk. So here's 2 cans. I'm going to be adding that. It doesn't matter if you use Carnation or Pet, either one. And when I started opening my milk, I realized I opened 1 Carnation and 1 Pet, so I don't think I can go wrong. So you put all that in there. And once again, I'm going to give it another swirl, and I'm going to put it on my KitchenAid and let it do its magic. It kind of scares me when I turn on my KitchenAid at first, because you never know if it, once you put it on, turn it on, that stuff seems to like go everywhere. So let's slide it over here, put it on the thing here, and lock it down. Make sure it's locked in place. Okay. Then lower your mixer and lock it so it won't come back up. And it's got the lowest speed. Start off with that. I'm going to just barely cut it on and right back off, because I want to see if it slushes much. Nope. So we're good. Let it mix on slow for a minute, and then I'm going to speed it up a little bit. This smells so good. I'm going to speed it up. You don't have to put it on the highest speed because it's real liquidy. I'm going to put it about halfway up on my mixer. Whoa, too much, too much. That was slush mode. Okay. Our family gets together at Thanksgiving, and we cook a lot of good food, and we put all our food together. And this is one of the recipes that I make sometimes. I'll take a pumpkin pie. Usually at Thanksgiving I make dressing. I make the turkey dressing, giblet gravy, and rice. And then sometimes I bring in desserts. So I'm doing this one early. If anybody wants a slice of it, come on over to Nana and Pop's house, and you're welcome to get a slice, because we're going to have 2 delicious pies. And Thanksgiving is coming fast. It's going to be here before you know it. If you make this recipe and you like sweet potato pie, I'm sure you're going to love this pumpkin pie. I had a lady tell me this week that she prefers sweet potato pie, but to me, I can't really tell the difference. So if you make it, let me know how you think, what you think about it. I think it's just about ready. It doesn't take long to mix well. So I'm going to cut it off. Raise the head on my mixer and try to get all the pumpkin off of here that I can. You want to use every bit of it. This is real simple to make. All you got to do is just put the ingredients in there and let it cook. Don't you like this, Jerry? I know you do. Okay, I'm going to move my pie crust. First of all, I'm going to make sure I got all the ingredients in there. Now I'm going to just read the recipe for 1 pie, but I doubled it. It calls for 1 package of Pillsbury pie crust, 2 eggs beaten, 1 can of canned milk, 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, and 1 can of, I already said, 1 can of milk. And then we mixed everything together, and I'm going to try my best to even it out. That off. Okay, this is what it looks like. It's real liquidy, but when it cooks, it'll be thick and where you can slice it real good. Fill it up as much as you can so it won't overflow. Got a little bit left, but that's okay. Okay, that should do it. And I'm gonna take these pies over to my oven. It's been preheating on 425. And like I said, I'll put them in the oven for 15 minutes on 425. And then after the 15 minutes, we'll cut down the temperature to 350, and it will cook for almost an hour, about 55 to 60 minutes. You just have to keep check on it. Usually my oven takes about 60 more minutes, so we'll see. And we'll see you in just a minute over at the oven. Okay, we managed to get it from the table to the oven, and the oven's on 425. It's preheated. So I'm going to slide this in and time this for 15 minutes. And then we'll cut the heat back down to 350. So it says on my clock 425, 15 minutes will be 440. So at 440 we'll turn the temperature back to 350. See you then. Okay, we're back and the pumpkin pies have cooked for an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to take them out of the oven and place them on my pot holders. They sure have had the house smelling good. But this is what the finished product looks like. 2 good pumpkin pies. And I'm going to set them here and they'll cool for about probably 30-45 minutes. And then we'll come back and I'll show you what, we'll slice a piece and show you what it looks like. Okay, here's a slice of the finished product with a little dollop of whipped cream on it. And I have a side note to discuss. This has nothing to do with my pie, but last Saturday I went to this fantastic luncheon at Miss Helen Domadoris' home, and she had the 2 debutantes that's in the Rose Hill Candlelight Debutante, and we were talking about slang words that teenagers says. And so this goes to Madeline Gilstrap and May Hollins Woodall, and also Beth Domadoris. I wanted you to know, bruh, I slayed this pie for you.